So ramai among us yang minat kan konten-konten pasal kewangan ni. And ada ramai influential figures kat luar sana yang aktif dalam space personal finance ni. Tahu tak, most of them, diorang actually write books. One of them yang sangat popular is brother ni, mesti korang kenal.
This here is fake money. I would never work for this stuff. It's good as toilet paper. Real money, fake money.
And mesti korang pernah dengar juga pasal buku bestseller dia, ni. Dalam video kali ni macam biasa aku nak share the things yang aku found interesting. And if korang tak pernah had the chance untuk baca buku tu for yourself kan, hopefully aku dapat convincekan korang untuk do so with this video. So the recurring theme dalam buku ni kan is penulis buku ni he's trying to encourage us untuk cuba find ways to escape the rat race, which is essentially us working a normal 8 to 5 job with the sole purpose of bayar hutang, pay our commitments and cover our expenses. And dalam buku ni, dia gunakan perumpamaan yang aku rasa is quite interesting untuk explain this situation. Dia gunakan analogy of playing a board game. So dia kata some people akan complain the right cards ataupun the right roll of dice is not coming their way. And they akan just sit and wait. But others akan see opportunity with the hand that they are dealt with. And diorang akan try to make the best out of it. So essentially buku ni is suggesting it's not wise for us to just sit and expect for opportunities to come our way. Instead, kita kena try to create the circumstances yang akan actually allow us to change our current situation. Yang menariknya, buku ni does acknowledge that life pushes all of us around, which is a great reality check. Jadi, how do we actually do it then? Buku ni suggest yang kita kena start by getting active with building our asset column. And kita kena get started while still keeping our day job. Which again, aku rasa is a very realistic approach. Sebab tak ramai among us yang boleh just quit our jobs kan due to our life commitments. So the fact yang kita boleh keep our day job and still be wealthy should make this more appealing for all of us to give it a try. So there's a strong emphasis dalam buku ni for us to continuously build on our financial IQ. In multiple instances, we are introduced to different concepts macam cash flow and expenses untuk get us familiarized with these ideas. But interestingly, a good number of times the focus was actually to explain the difference between an asset and a liability. Sebab penulis buku tu is convinced a lot of times we miss the opportunity to build wealth cause our money is tied up in things which is not an asset. And he specifically mentioned yang it's not what we think yang akan differentiate whether something tu is an asset or a liability, but everything is in the numbers. A good example would be ramai orang yang still believe rumah tu is an asset. But buku ni suggests in actual fact, when you look at the numbers, for most people, owning a house is a liability. Sebab it's money out of our pockets. Not only for the monthly mortgage payments, tapi also for the cost of renovation and the tax you pay when you purchase the house initially. An asset should be putting money in your pockets instead. So in order for us untuk start building our asset column, the first step is kita should be fully capable of identifying an asset. Not through emotions, but numbers. Then buku ni also suggests yang kita kena adopt a change in mindset. Instead of us saying, I cannot afford to do something, kita kena ubah to how can I actually afford it. Even though this is simple, yet it's empowering. Sebab dia akan force our brain untuk start to think of a solution. Instead of us just mengalah and giving up. The reality is kan, ramai among us kena overcome the first hurdle, which is laziness due to our busy schedule. Again, aku rasa this is another good reality check sebab all of us face this kan. Kita kerja long hours in a day with other personal commitments, which is a huge deterrent for us to get started. And buku ni is good in this sense yang mana in many instances it gives practical advice and sets a realistic expectation. While we are on this topic, buku ni also has a unique perspective on wealth. Staying true to the spirit of escaping the rat race kan. It defines wealth as a person's ability to survive so many number of days forward if they stop working today. To this point, aku rasa every one of us adults, we need to have a very clear picture on this. Kita kena ada an exit strategy in mind. And just to be clear, there's no harm in actually having a day job. But at a certain point, it should not be that the only reason why kita pergi kerja is because we need to langsaikan hutang ataupun bayar our commitments. If we spend everything we earn sekarang, then most likely if we get a pay raise in the future pun, we will still not be able to take the first step to build wealth, which is the tool yang akan allow us to eventually achieve this goal. So if you're still not convinced to get started kan, buku ni also goes on to shed some light on the reality of tax to incentivize you. Aku rasa ramai among us is actually aware about this. but maybe it does not really sink in kot. Most of us, we are taught on how to make money. We are trained untuk work hard for our salary. But with the ever increasing government spending kan, the middle income group is the one at risk to bear the significant burden of tax. So here's another reality check. Upper middle class professionals more or less will earn somewhat similar with small business owners. But are you guys aware yang kita enjoy less tax breaks? Kita tend to get taxed on gross income rather than net income after expenses, which is generally the case for business owners. So Buku ni is highlighting that majority of people are at a disadvantage by design in this tax system. You get your salary, you kena tax. You buy a house, you also kena tax. You beli groceries pun, you kena tax. Sounds familiar kan? So a strong likelihood is, if we are purely depending on our salary, as our pay increase, we will likely get taxed more. Hence, kita kena start thinking on how to better manage our income now untuk start building assets. So kita boleh enjoy other forms of income like dividends, which is an alternative to salary and it can be tax-free. So buku ni is on a lot of people's must-read list kan. And now aku boleh faham kenapa that's the case. It's written in a storytelling format, so it's a fun read. And there's a lot of lessons yang kita boleh benefit from the book. So macam biasa, cuba let me know in the ruangan comments kat bawah what kind of assets yang korang suka invest in and how has that experience been like. Cuba share, aku interested nak tahu. And see you guys in the next video. Ciao.